What primary is best against the Automatons? Is it the Dominator, the Punisher Plasma, or the Scorcher? I'm not going to include the Eruptor because that's basically like a support weapon. And the reason I'm talking about these weapons is because there has been a change to how the armor functions to the Scout Striders, and that's the last patch that's gone through. And this has impacted how effective the Scorcher is. And the Scorcher was one of my favorites because it was really effective at dealing with Scout Striders. So I'll show you before and after and how you use it now. Also, the Punisher Plasma got a buff with how fast it shoots. Well, no, not its fire rate, but the projectile speed, making it much more easier to wield. It did also get some nerfs too. If it didn't get the nerfs, this thing, I think, would have been at the tippity top. I'm surprised I hated it so much. I don't like it against the bugs, but it's actually really effective against the bots. And I'll show you how it matches up against the Scorcher and the Dominator. Now, I did all this testing on lower levels. I saw previous comments like, oh, why are you testing on lower levels? Where's all the Helldivers footage? I test on lower levels so you can see what's going on. So when I say like this one shot or two shots something, you can actually see it rather than the hecticness of Helldiver missions. And then I go and actually play Helldiver missions and do it that way. So I will upload a video of running what I'm recommending in a Helldivers video a bit later on. Right, so I went and shot every type of enemy in the face and recorded how many times you shoot them before they fall over. Here's a bit of a summary. When it comes to light enemies for the Automatons, all of these weapons will one-shot them in the head or the body. The difference being the plasma shotgun has really good splash damage, and they actually reduced they increased the damage fall off of this, so it would have been even better before. And you actually do need to get multi-kills to make up for the less rounds. It only has 8 rounds compared to the 15 of the Scorcher and the Jar. So you kind of do need to shoot it into groups of enemies. But considering everything is a one-shot, and the Plasma Shotgun has the best splash damage, you can get the most kills with it. My preference is actually to run the Plasma Shotgun. It is very effective when a drop ship arrives and you can just take out a cluster of light enemies. Right, let's talk about the Scout Striders. The Dominator is very inconsistent with shooting the middle of the body. You can actually penetrate the middle part of the Scout Striders with the Dominator. It should only take 2 shots if it goes through. However, in my experience, you often get a lot of ricochets, so you're much better off shooting at the joints or the top of the leg. If you do that, it's a 3-shot. However, sometimes you get that big stagger as well with the Scout Striders, so you got to swing the Dominator around to actually hit your second and third shots. Now, what happened with the Scorcher was, before the patch, the Scorcher could just shoot the top section of the Scout Striders, and it would be a 2-shot, and they'd fall over. It was very, very effective. Since the patch, it is now, I think, a 5-shot to actually take them out. You still can just shoot the top of the Scout Striders and eventually kill them, but it's no longer a 2-shot, so it's not very ammo effective. The easier option for the Scorcher is, though, to just shoot the middle part. It is very consistent. You shoot 3 shots, the mid-body, and the Scout Striders will fall over. The Plasma Shotgun is actually pretty consistent too. It is also a 3-shot to like anywhere on a Scout Strider, and I believe 2 shots on the legs. But the big thing for it is it has huge amounts of stagger. And like they're like just go stumbling for a little bit, allows you to regroup, get the next shot in, get behind cover. I do a lot of like peeking with the Plasma Shotgun and like chain staggers together. And of course, the Plasma Shotgun is going to be more effective in groups. For me, I actually put the Scorcher and the Plasma Shotgun at the same sort of level when it comes to dealing with Striders. The Scorcher is obviously much better at range. If you've got time to set up and take them out at distance, it's going to obviously outperform the Plasma Shotgun. However, if you're getting rushed and they're in a group and they've just been dropped off by a drop ship, the Plasma Shotgun outperforms it. I really do rate it. And the stagger, obviously the Scorcher doesn't have the stagger, and the Plasma Shotgun does have the stagger, which is huge in my opinion when you're fighting Automatons. Okay, the other medium enemies, or the Devastators and the different variants of the Devastators. This is a bit of a summary. So the Dominator will one-shot all of them with a headshot, as long as you land that headshot. 2 to 3 shots in the stomach, depending on the variant. 5 to 6 shots if you miss everything. It does have medium armor penetration, that's why you still kill them in 5 to 6 shots. And very nicely. It has a big amount of stagger, giving you plenty of time to do follow-up shots. In my opinion, the Dominator is better than the Scorcher when dealing with those medium enemies, the Devastators and the Berserkers. The Scorcher, essentially, you have to hit your crits with it. And if you can hit your shots and you're absolute godly, it obviously performs very well. 2 shots on the head, 2 shots on the stomach, 2 shots on the joint, and you will take them down. However, it doesn't have medium armor penetration, and so if you don't hit those headshots or those other weak spots, you're basically going to have to empty most of your magazine into one of them. I've had some Devastators take 8 shots. I've had other Devastators take like 15 shots. I think that variance is because sometimes you might hit their arm and you won't do as much damage as if you're hitting the body. Now this is where the plasma shotgun gets really interesting, because you actually get the red crosshair regardless of where you shoot, which means you're doing 100% damage. You're not doing reduced damage, even though it doesn't have medium armor penetration. However, I do think it matters where you hit, because at minimum, I can get 3 shots will take out a Devastator, and then maximum is like 5 shots. Berserkers are like 6 shots. And as you can see, that's actually on par with the Dominator. When you miss all your shots with the Dominator, you're at 5 and 6 shots. So the plasma shotgun is actually doing the same as the Dominator when you're not hitting headshots. Of course, if you're hitting headshots with the Dominator, you get like 1 tapping. So there's a difference there. Basically, if you can hit your shots with the Dominator, you're going to do better. But in the franticness and the hecticness of higher difficulties and everyone rushing you, especially Berserkers, I actually prefer the plasma shotgun too. The great thing is Berserkers are always in groups, and you kind of like group stagger them, giving you lots of breathing room, giving your team a lot of breathing room, and then other people can follow up with other shots as well while you reload. Moving on to heavies for Hulks, the Dominator will take 4 shots to kill, the plasma shotgun will take 5 shots, and the Scorcher will take 6 shots. For ease of use, I actually put the Scorcher in this category. Most of the time, you're actually going to be following up after like a rocket or a quasar. This is a really good strategy now with the high cooldown of the quasar cannon. You do 1 shot and then you follow up with a Scorcher. And the Scorcher is so quick, it has lots of range, and you can get those shots off really, really fast and take out Hulks like very easily. Take 1 shot with a rocket, switch to your Scorcher, and then like follow up and kill it. So I actually put the Scorcher as like the top contender when taking out Hulks. And here is my high-tech summary. When it comes to automatons and the light enemies, I have the Dominator, the Scorcher, and the plasma shotgun. I actually give it to the plasma shotgun just because you're getting rushed and you have lots of groups of enemies and it has big splash damage. They all one shot, so there's no difference there. So I just like the control that you get with the plasma shotgun. When it comes to medium enemies, the Striders, I think the Scorcher is very good ease of use, and the plasma is also a 3-shot. They're both 3 shots on Striders. The Scorcher is really for range, and the plasma is really for close. So if you find you're getting rushed all the time, which I think you probably will, I actually prefer the plasma. And on top of that, you actually get stagger. So I think you could argue that the plasma has a little bit more going on for it there. But of course, the downside is you've got like almost half the bullets. When it comes to medium headshots, you have to give it to the Jar, like all the Devastators and Berserkers, or 1-shot headshots for the Jar Jar Dominator. So you have to give it to that. But when it comes to body shots, the Jar and the Plasma are basically on par. And once again, they both have good stagger, but the Plasma shotgun has a bit better of area of control because of the AoE you get from it. When it comes to Berserkers, I actually give it to the Plasma too, because they're always in a group and you can take out multiple with it and you can stagger them so they'll stop rushing you. And then when it comes to heavies, I give it to the Scorcher, just how easy it is to follow up on rockets. Yes. So this is why I actually am starting to run the Plasma. It's kind of good for all your light and mediums. It can deal with Striders, and due to the new patch, that's handy. I like it a lot, and I absolutely hated it when it first came out. I think it's worth your time to give it a shot. It would have been absolutely cracked if they actually didn't change how many bullets were in the magazine. It used to have 12, now it has 8, and they also changed some of the damage fall off too. So it would have been incredibly good before. I still think it's a top contender, and it is my king for taking out the Automatons. I'll put up a Helldivers video so nobody complains that this is all dog shit. And if you'd like to support the channel and cannot think of a comment, you can leave the word Punisher Plasma, or is it Plasma Punisher? I always get it confused. Right, that's it. Bye-bye.